How are you guys doing today? My name is Russ, and today I'll be presenting my case analysis on Nucor Corporation, Innovation, Change, and Motivation case analysis. In this presentation, I'll begin with a brief summary of who Nucor is as an organization. Then I'll address three major areas from this case: Nucor's organizational culture, its executive compensation model, and the drivers of organizational innovation. Finally, I will conclude with a recap of the key takeaways supported by organizational behavior theory. Thank you. Let's begin. So, the agenda for today is the agenda for today's presentation. I'll begin with a short overview of who Nucor is and introduce the company and what they do. Then I'll analyze question 1, which focuses on Nucor's organizational culture. Next, I will address question 2 regarding the executive compensation model and how they pay their workers and employees as a whole. And after that, I will discuss question 3, which examines the drivers of organizational innovation at Nucor. Finally, I will summarize the key points and then connect them back to the organizational behavior theory and scholarly research that we've learned throughout the semester. So this is slide number 3, and this is the case summary and who Nucor is. Nucor Corporation is one of the largest and most successful steel producers in the United States. The company operates numerous plants across the country and is widely recognized for its efficiency and profitability within a highly competitive and often unstable industry and market. However, what truly distinguishes Nucor is not just its market position, but its unique management philosophy and organizational structure. The case focuses on how Nucor's decentralized structure, performance-based compensation pay, and strong organizational culture have allowed it to remain competitive despite economic downturns in a very unstable industry and among global competition, as well as fluctuating steel prices. Unlike many traditional corporations, Nucor operates with a flat hierarchy and pushes decision-making authority to frontline employees and managers. This structure increases accountability and responsiveness as a whole. Another major theme in the case is Nucor's performance-driven culture. A large portion of both employee and executive pay is tied directly to the company and plant performance. This creates alignment between leadership and workers and reinforces an ownership mindset throughout the whole organization, from bottom-line employees to the top CEOs and executives. Overall, this case presents Nucor as a company that successfully integrates culture, structure, and compensation in a way that drives motivation, innovation, and success. Here we have slide 4, and this is Nucor's organizational culture. So, Nucor's organizational culture can be described as a team-oriented and collaborative employee operation, with a strong sense of shared responsibility for the success of the organization as a whole. Rather than competing internally, they work together toward a common goal. There is also a strong emphasis on shared success throughout the corporation. When the company performs well, employees benefit directly through incentive pay. This reinforces collective accountability. Nucor operates under an egalitarian philosophy. Compared to many corporations, the gap between executive pay and low entry-level employee pay is much, much smaller. This promotes fairness and trust among employees, CEOs, management, and just the business as a whole. A symbolic example of egalitarian culture is that every employee's name is included in the company's annual report. This reinforces the idea that success belongs to everyone, not just leadership and ownership of the corporation. Overall, the culture promotes accountability, trust, and commitment among everyone. According to Konopasky, organizational culture consists of shared values and assumptions that guide behavior for everyone. At Nucor, those shared values clearly emphasize teamwork and performance altogether. So next we have slide 5, question 2, and this is Nucor's executive compensation model. So the Nucor compensation model, our executive compensation model, reflects its broader organizational philosophy. The company maintains a flattened hierarchy, meaning no one really has much more power than the other, and no one is incentivized more than the other. And that means there's just fewer layers of management and less separation between the executives and frontline employees. Authority is pushed to the frontline empowering employees to make decisions for themselves that a business owner would make. This empowerment aligns with participative leadership practices discussed in organizational behavior theory in Konopasky's book. The leadership approach encourages employee involvement in decision-making rather than relying on top-down control to, micromanage that decision-making. This creates greater engagement and accountability among all employees. Another important feature is the acceptance of risk and occasional failure they have with their employees. Employees are not punished for taking calculated risk that may not succeed for the organization and better them. This supports innovation and continuous improvement for employees' benefits and what they do. Finally, there is a strong alignment between leadership and employees. Because executive pay is tied to overall company performance, leaders share in the same risk leaders share their same risk to reward ratio as the workers do. If they don't perform to a high level, the leaders won't be paid. If they don't perform to a high level, the workers won't be paid, and vice versa. If they don't make a lot of good performance, they won't get paid. If they have a good performance, they both get paid. This strengthens trust and reinforces a unified organizational direction. Here we have slide 6, and this is question 3, drivers of organizational information at Nucor. So in examining the drivers of innovation at Nucor, performance-based pay plays a significant role. The majority of employee compensation is tied directly to output and plant performance and employee performance as a whole. This motivates employees to continuously improve processes and increase efficiency altogether. Executive pay is also linked to overall company performance, not guaranteed salaries alone, which is a big difference compared to other corporations. This ensures that leaders remain focused on long-term success rather than just short-term making their salary and not really caring about how their employees are affected. Nucor maintains a relatively low CEO to worker pay ratio. Compared to many corporations, this reduces perceptions of inequality and strengthens internal trust. Because compensation is aligned with results, teamwork is reinforced rather than internal competition competing with employees and at management levels and CEO levels among the corporation. Employees understand that their performance directly impacts both their income and the company's success as a whole. And next we have slide 7, our scholarly support. Management practices observed at Nucor are strongly supported by both organizational behavior theory and peer-reviewed research. First, Konopasky explains the organizational culture consists of shared values, beliefs, and assumptions that guide employee behavior. At Nucor, the shared values of teamwork, accountability, and performance clearly influence how employees act. The textbook also discusses expectancy theory, which states that employees are more motivated when they believe their effort leads to performance and meaningful rewards. Nucor's performance-based compensation system directly reflects the theory because compensation is tied to measurable results. In addition to the textbook, research by Jiang and colleagues in the Academy of Management Journal examined high-performance work systems found that organizations that link compensation, empowerment, and performance expectations tend to experience higher productivity and stronger organizational outcomes. Nucor's pay-for-performance model and decentralized structure align with these findings closely. Similarly, research by Eisenbies and colleagues in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that transformational and participative leadership styles significantly enhance team innovation. Nucor's leadership approach, which pushes authority to frontline and accepts calculated risk by lower-level employees, reflects these principles. Employees are empowered to make decisions and propose improvements which strengthen innovation and capacity. Together, these scholarly sources confirm that Nucor's culture, structure, and compensation model are not just unique practices, but are supported by established organizational behavior theory and research. So, we're going to finish this up with a recap and kind of a summary of the whole case as a whole. In conclusion, Nucor's unique organizational culture drives its sustained success. The company's term-oriented and egalitarian values create strong employee commitment and empowerment. Its decentralized structure reinforces innovation by empowering employees closest to operations rather than relying solely on top management, executives, or owners to make those decisions. Nucor encourages bottom-up problem solving, which is big for employees' confidence and effectiveness in the business. The compensation system aligns with results, and both employees and executives prioritize performance and collaboration with each other, so they are able to get these incentives and to create a valuable, efficient company. Although external pressures require adaptation, internal forces such as empowerment and accountability fuel ongoing innovation and create continuous success for a corporation. Overall, Nucor represents a strong level world example of organizational behavior theory in action, demonstrating how culture, structure, and compensation systems work together to create sustainable success for any corporation. Thank you. And here's my reference sheet. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.